Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to get discovered on social media as an artist. I want to talk about this because lately a lot of emerging artists had been complaining to me saying, you know what, I've been doing a lot of social media work. I try to grow my Instagram, but it just doesn't grow. I don't know what happened. I think the game is rigged. I must buy fake followers. I must pay an agency or advertising. Otherwise, there isn't any ways for me to grow organically, to sell my art, to get discovered by this big collector or big gallerist. And you know what? The game is rigged. I'm so frustrated, and I know there are a lot of negativity going around, and I think I need to address this from a different approach. This isn't some kind of technical approach, but more emotional approach, because what is rigged is your negativity, is your disbelief in yourself, in your growth. And I think the key is to have this can-do attitude and say, okay, I will look at the top art accounts on Instagram in my niche. I will see the gap between my art and their art, how they promote their account. And I'm going to learn, I'm going to improve and make this breakthrough and slowly close that gap so that one day I will get discovered like those big art accounts. I will grow and I will have my place in the art market. I think it's possible totally, and that's why I invite you to do my method and hear me out in this video and try it. If it doesn't work, make sure you write me back in a comment below so I can get back to you with some more personalized advice and strategy. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. My first advice is about the mentality, to embrace the competition instead of looking somewhere else or complain. I want to share with you a story that was 15 years ago when I was a 20-year-old student. Now you know my age. Next month I'll be 35 years old. So happy birthday to me. When I was a 20-year-old student, I was coaching a group of youngsters aged between 17 to 19. So they're very difficult teenagers, and they wanted to go to my school, top art school in China, and I was coaching them as a college student to give them some more like insights as a student, as a success story. So I remembered coaching this one boy in a small group of 5 students, and he was very keen, very motivated, and he was also very negative. He was like, you know what? The game is rigged. It's not possible for me. My parents are not artists, and it's just like nobody's, and I don't have money. I cannot bribe anybody. And if a famous director's son comes to the school, they will be prioritizing him, treating him differently, the halo effect, and I will be doomed, and I will never become a successful artist that I wanted to be. And the game is rigged. You can imagine, right? This ongoing negativity, and I knew that I had to do something quick to stop his negative thoughts, to turn things around, and also to stop this negative thinking spreading in this small group, because I think it's kind of contagious. And I told him, look, there are 20 seats in the school. Maybe there are 5 sons and daughters of famous directors. I don't think there are so many directors and so many sons that are coming to the school in this particular year. So let's assume there are 5 and there are 20 seats. So there are still 15 seats left. Can you be the top 20? Can you be the top 25? If you're not even the top 25, you're like 40, 50, because there will be a clear ranking of each student's score, so that it's very transparent. If you're not even on the top 25, what rights do you have to complain? You have a lot of gaps you need to close. You need to be better. You need to take your time to improve yourself instead of complaining the game is rigged, because even though it's rigged, is not rigged for you because you are too far behind. So I was trying to agitate him so much to like make him into a fighter instead of a complainer. I think this advice is still valid today, and I think if you're an artist ranking way behind, you get my idea, right? On the hashtags in your niche, you shouldn't be complaining. Like, you're not on the first page anyway, and people who are on the second page can complain like, okay, it's not a fair game. If you're in a 100+ page, if there are a lot of holes in your strategy, you need to use the time to improve instead of complain, because there are a lot of people with advantages in every game. So you just have to take this competition and try to be the best you can be. And I don't think this negativity will help you in any ways. That's why I would say, let's get our hands dirty. Let's do some work to actually, dig up your strategy and make it better and take this competition heads on. My second advice is to really discover what you're good at and how other people see you. Basically, understanding yourself. If you are an art school graduate, maybe you are looking at yourself too academically. Maybe you are not from art school and you think you're doing some kind of art, but your collectors, your buyers might not agree. They might not even think you fit into a certain category. I'll give you an example. An artist I talked to, he thought he was doing what is called a pointillism or dotism, if you may say. So those are the artworks made with dots. And he thought he was doing that, but he was doing more like street art, pop art style. His protagonist, his figures in this work is not dots, but is the background. It was with a lot of dots, but I don't think it was dotism or pointillism, however you want to call it. It wasn't really fitting into that category, because ideally it's the whole image, or at least the protagonist, the subject on the image, should be made with dots. But he was doing this contrary in reverse. And he thought his collectors will like it this way, but he did not have any positive feedbacks. He wasn't ranking high. He wasn't liked or shared. He couldn't sell any art on social media. And I think the reason being he wasn't really understanding himself, how other people perceive him. He really need to work on that. So what you could do is to go to maybe some more successful artists, doesn't have to be top, but a little more successful, and maybe go to Reddit, social media, go to some potential maybe buyers. So what do you like about my art? How would you describe my art? So you can know really what category you'd fit into, and you might really be surprised. From there, you can develop your niche, your content strategy, your hashtags, so that you are going to compete with the right strategy in front of the right collectors. So at least, you have a potential market for you. My third advice is to learn from the best. And what I mean best isn't necessarily the best from best art schools or the best in techniques. You want to grow on social media, so you need to learn from the most trending artist art accounts, pages, from the hashtags or niches. You, for example, choose a hashtag, for example, street art or pointillism or whatever that fits your kind of art from the previous step that you discovered, okay, this is my niche, and then go into it and look at every day, search it every week, and collect a kind of a document or a screen capture of the most trending, top ranking posts from your niche. Ideally, you will see immediately there's a big gap, and you will start working on closing this gap. If you still don't know the gap, you don't know, okay, my art is good, their art is good, I think I fit into the top 10. What you can do is this kind of a exam. You take 8 works on, for example, top trending hashtags of your niche on Instagram, and then place your art as the number 9th randomly into a position. And then you share it on Facebook community, different kind of groups like Reddit, or among family and friends. And then ask people, can you see which work did not belong to this top 9 art on Instagram? Just ask them to pick one out. If this work is yours, then you know you're really far from ready, far from competing against the top trending accounts. And then you can learn, continue to work towards closing the gap. Then one day when people say, oh, the other artist's work is the one that did not belong to this group, then you know that you are ready to compete against top accounts on social media. Is the moment you can start launch your sales campaigns and start promoting your art, maybe even with money. So with some kind of Shopify equipped online store. And that's the moment I would say you will truly graduate from this social media strategy, from the social media school. Now you have heard my 3-step strategy. Of course, this isn't very technical. It's more like an emotional way to get over your growth trap. Hopefully this has helped you. Let me know what you think. If it has helped you, make sure you give a thumbs up. If you did not like, you can also give a thumb down. Just make sure you double click that. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.